This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll be mastering our bead border. It's broken down into steps so you can skip ahead, rewind, and rewatch as desired. We're going to use a single bag for today's practice, and I have it loaded up with some extra buttercream. I used just a little neon bright pink just to give myself a nice bright shade of pink. To start with, we'll be using the number 12 tip to practice since it's the most common one I use for this type of border. But I'll also be giving it a try with numbers 3, 5, and 8 so you can see some variety of sizes. First up, we're going to go over some key points for our bead border, not just how to make it, but what makes a good one. And that first one is just we're using round tips. We're going to start today with number 12 tip just because it's a great size. It's a good choice for borders, but keep in mind that you can use other sizes of round tips to do ones that are either larger or smaller. We're going to hold our bag at 45 degrees and we're going to kind of just be a little above the surface. It's a little bit like doing a dot, except we're tilting the bag to the side. We want that frosting to be able to come out, connect easily, and balloon out to make a nice, good, round kind of dot. And then what we're going to do after we hold for just a little bit is pull away quickly to make a short tail. And this tail doesn't even necessarily need to contact with the bottom surface. It just needs to be off to the side. And we want it to be nice and short so that when we're connecting things together, we don't have to go too much distance to do that. And that's kind of the key here. We want the idea of maybe like a thread, so a bead or maybe like a little kind of necklace, chain of pearls kind of look to kind of form. So we want to pipe our little dots for our bead border really close together to give them that linked look. And having that little tapered tail on the side can kind of ensure that everything is joined together without having so much going on there, right? Too much distance that they look too spaced out and we lose the effect. So when I'm setting up to do my bead border for just a little practice, I want to think about piping a dot first. So being up above the surface and straight up and down. And now I'm just going to rotate that bag so it's kind of at 45 degrees. I'm just going to pull it a tiny touch closer to the surface because when I squeeze, I want my frosting to come out, balloon out, and then I'm going to make a quick little tail. That way, when I do the next one, it'll balloon out, cover up that tail, and allow me to keep going. And that allows me to link them together and get that nice, beautiful round shape. Next up, let's talk about some common issues that you can see with your bead border. So we're talking about things that happen when we're maybe not holding our bag correctly or we're doing something too long or for too little time. So first up is being too close to the surface. So we want to be a little off the surface, but not too far away, and also not too close. So if we're so close that we're almost touching, you can see we get kind of a flat disc. It's also not really going to allow us to make our tails. And you can see they look a little more like rounded little fans there. The other side of that is being too far away. So if I set myself up and then pull up a little bit higher, you can see that my frosting comes out, doesn't connect right away, so I get a little curly snail tail instead of a nice, beautiful bead. Piping them too close together. So if your setup is correct, and we've got beautiful beads, but we're piping them on top of each other, it's going to smash the second one out, and it's going to kind of get rid of that little bit of definition we get from the tiny bit of space between the two. Next up, spacing them too far apart. So if everything is set up correctly, and we get beautiful beads, but we pipe too far apart, we lose the connection of making it a chain, and we end up looking like separate little dots with tiny little tails on the end. So we just kind of lose the look that we want there. If we hold or we squeeze too long, you're going to get very oversized dots. They might even start to have ridges or wrinkles in them. And it's just not going to have that same beautiful, polished, clean look to it. And then last up is not squeezing long enough. So the opposite of the one just before. And this will leave you with very undersized dots that it might be hard to chain together. And while it can still look nice, what'll happen is it might not take up the space that you need it to, because typically with borders, we're looking at covering up an edge. So the idea is to mask some imperfections. And if we don't have the volume that we need to do that, then you might still see some of those flaws. So make sure you're holding long enough so you get nice full dots. Next up, we're going to talk about our rhythm or our sizing. And mostly what this is finding a nice little rhythm for yourself so you can get kind of even and consistent. And really what this is going to be about is that hold. So when we're squeezing and we're making that nice little round dot for ourselves right before we pull, we kind of want to get a timing for that. So you want to set yourself up, make sure you're good on your position, so 45 degrees, just a little bit off the surface, so you can squeeze 1, 2, and then pull. And for me, it's a little 2 count, but depending on how hard you squeeze and a few other personal factors, it might be a little longer or shorter. So don't be afraid to adjust it however you need to, so you get nice, even sized dots. And you can link them together to make a beautiful bead border. So mostly what this is about is just developing that nice little rhythm for yourself. So for me, it's a nice little 1, 2, pull, 1, 2, pull that I'm doing in my head, even kind of while I'm talking. And over time, you probably won't even need to make that little kind of rhythm or song for yourself in your head, but that'll help you get nice, consistent, even sizing. And then really the only thing you have to work with your hands is making sure that they're close enough together without being too close, too far apart. So it's a little kind of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Just kind of walk yourself through it and look at each one you're doing. Say a little too close, a little too far apart, and just work on adjusting. And eventually, when you do it, it'll start to become muscle memory and second nature. Finishing our bead border. This is a border that is really easy to finish seamlessly because what we're going to do instead of our bead is just a dot. So instead of being at 45 degrees, we're going to kick our bag back up to 90. And in that space in between, since we no longer need to make a tail to join things together, we're just going to pipe a nice dot to finish things. So just line yourself up like you would normally for a dot. Squeeze, let that frosting come out nice and full, stop, and circle around to finish things off. Size variations. So this is one where we're kind of limited to our round tips, but there's a lot of sizes in those round tips, and I've picked a couple smaller ones than our 12, but there's also some larger ones like your 808 or your 806 that you could also use to create a larger border. The key here is going to be getting closer to the surface with these smaller tips, and then just the same technique. It's just going to be finer and more delicate. And after you get comfortable with the number 12, I definitely recommend trying some other sizes and just kind of working out that spacing and timing a little bit, because it'll change just a little bit when you change to different size tips. Next up, our number 5. So very similar. So closer to the surface than the 12, a little further away than the 3. A little longer hold than my 3 too. And we get a nice bead border, but you can see much heavier than that number 3. And finally, my number 8 tip. This one has a nice weight to it, but still feels just a little bit delicate and just a little more refined and a little less, I guess, maybe chunky than using a 12. We've talked about it, so let's give our bead border a practice. I'm just going to go along on the top edge of my cake. I'm going to set myself up and get started. Just pay attention to your timing, your spacing, and take a moment. If you need to, adjust your bag, the position, the angle, squeeze your frosting down and give it a twist anytime you need to, or stop and reload anytime you need to. One of the great things about borders is they're not just one long piped piece. They're little short interconnected elements. So you can stop and pause and then keep going as you need to. And taking your time with work like this will help with your consistency and also the look. So don't rush through them. When we get to this little last one, we have enough space for a dot. I'm just going to come in, make sure I'm lined up nice and perfectly, and give myself a beautiful dot there to finish it off for a wonderful, seamless look. That's all for this lesson on our bead border. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did and you want to check out some other fun lessons on borders, you can try ones on our shell or reverse shell to change up the look of your cakes. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly supports our channel and helps us share more in-depth cake decorating lessons. Want to level up your skills? Our yearly membership has certificate programs from beginner and up. Learn more at cakedecoratingschool.com.